From Wrigley Field in Chicago, it's the Chicago Cubs trying to increase their first-place lead to 3.5 games as they face the Mets in the second game of today's doubleheader. Again, everybody. Harry Caray with Steve Stone from Wrigley Field as we go into the second game of today's doubleheader. A capacity sellout crowd. They stopped the sale of any further tickets about an hour or so before game time this morning. The Cubs with an opportunity now to extend their first place lead to a full 3.5 games. They'll be trying for the sweep over the doubleheader. They swept the Mets in New York, you know, a week ago. Here go the Cubs onto the field.
It's a tremendous...
Here are the lineups first, Steve.
It's a tremendous disadvantage for the Mets, the inability to beat the Cubs head-to-head. As we take a look at the Mets lineup.
Backlund at second base. Wilson in center field. Hernandez at first. Strawberry in right. Danny Heap in left. Kelvin Chapman at third, Santana the shortstop, Junior Ortiz the catcher, and Ed Lynch will be the pitcher. For the Cubs, look at this lineup. Cotto in center, Sandberg at second, Bosley in right field, Durham at first base, Moreland at third base, Johnstone in left field, Lake the catcher, Boa at shortstop, and Scott Sanderson will be the pitcher. The umpires will be Fred Brocklander at home plate, Charlie Williams at first, Steve Ripley at second, and John McSherry at third. The Cubs have only 3 men in the starting lineup of the second game who started the first game. Sanderson with a record of 6-2. Oh, a big one to win. The Cubs certainly have a great bench for this one.
Well, the Mets go into a doubleheader on the road with the idea that they'd like to have a split. The Cubs, of course, would like to sweep them both. They have the opportunity to do that with a tough 8-6 win in the first game. If they can take the second game, they're going to put a big dent in the chances of the Mets. Even though there's a long way to go, you push them back 3.5 games going into that game. You keep alive the possibility of this 4-game sweep tomorrow. And it falls on Scott Sanderson. He should be happy looking at the offense of the Cubs the last few games. He'll have to hold them down. It's become a pretty good day to pitch. When the day started, the wind was blowing out. It was very hot. Now there's a little bit of a nip in the air. and the wind is blowing in from right field, so it's going to be difficult for the left-handers to hit the ball out. Right-handers will still be able to take the ball out in left center or down the line. And Sanderson does have some tough left-hand hitters to contend with in Backman, Wilson, Hernandez, Strawberry, and Heap.
Keith Moreland playing third base in this game. There you see Scott Sanderson, tall, handsome right-hander. He and his beautiful wife will be among the many players on the Cubs cruise, cruising the Caribbean next November the 10th through the 17th. Here's Wally Backman to lead it off. Backman in the first game had 1 out of 4. 1 out of 5 make it. He made the final out of the ball game, striking out. Here's Scott Sanderson's first pitch. The delivery. Fastball right in there at the knees. Strike call. Sunday the 29th of July, Steve Trout had shut the Mets out in the first game of a Sunday doubleheader. And then Sanderson had come back to win the second game. He needed help in the 8th, but he went out with a good lead. 1 ball, 1 strike. Fastball inside. 0-2. 2 balls and a strike. Twice in the first game, the Mets got out in front. But the Cubs overhauled them. Line drive, left field. It's a foul ball. Backman drills one foul into the left field corner. He's a pretty good little hitter, this kid.
He tries to hit the ball back up the middle. That's what he practices in batting practice, using that screen as a target, because he said that the biggest hole on the infield is back up through the middle, and he realizes he's not going to hit a lot of home runs. He said he's never been a home run hitter at any level. His most home runs have been 8, so he doesn't try to do more than he's capable of. He hits the ball where it's pitched, and he can be pesky for a right-hand pitcher.
Now the pitch. Struck him out, a slow curve. Caught the outside corner. Backman hitting .289. With no homers, 17 runs batted in. Here's Mookie Wilson at 2 out of 4 in the first game. Hitting .272 with 6 homers, 33 RBI. One out, nobody on. There you get a good look at Sanderson. Slow curve of beauty in there, a strike called. Cubs won the first game 8-6, hitting 3 home runs. There's Dave Johnson, the manager of the Mets. Cubs now have beaten the Mets the last 5 times in a row. Did he go around or not? No, he didn't. The plate umpire, Brocklander, appealed to John McSherry. A ball and a strike. Mookie Wilson, the hitter. High pop foul out of play. There's a team in first place by 2.5 games. And Keith Moreland already this year has played third base, first base, catcher, right field, and left field. 1-2. A little tap. Now don't get hurt, Scott. Durham tags him out coming in down the line. That's the kind of play that a guy with a back ailment can hurt it on.
Well, this is not going to do Leon's hamstring any good either, as he's got to make quick movements as Mookie Wilson tries to get under him. Wilson down the line in a hurry, then it's the dive. Well, the West German judge gives him 7-5 on that dive, but he's out anyway.
All right, here's Hernandez. He had 2 out of 4, 2 out of 5 in the first game, drove in three of the runs. They made a total of 6, and Hernandez drove in 3 of them. 2 out, nobody on. Sanderson's pitch. Slow curve inside and high. There's a slow curve ball, a little bit low. Ball two. 2 balls, no strikes. The Mets twice had a 2-run lead in the first game with their best pitcher, Ron Darling, going. Best by record, that is. Fastball inside, ball 3. Darryl Strawberry on deck. Goes back to the screen. Ball 4. Steve Lake gets a new baseball, puts it in play. Base on balls, and Hernandez is on. Here's Strawberry. Dow was 0 for 3 in the first game, hitting .261.
That might be the sign that Sanderson's back isn't feeling very well, because I haven't seen him throw the ball that far behind anybody in quite some time.
Now the pitch to Strawberry. Fastball right in there. Strike call. 1 strike to nothing. Nothing wrong with his velocity. He's throwing the ball hard. 2 out. Hernandez the runner at first base. Darryl Strawberry the hitter. Now the pitch on the way. Time call. Cubs leave after the game tomorrow for Montreal, where they play 4 games: Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Hernandez and Durham have a little conversation. Time had been called. The pitch won't count. One strike to nothing.
I think Brocklander is telling Strawberry to stay in the box, although Sanderson is taking a whole lot of time. Strawberry looks like he's moved off the plate a little bit this game. He looks a little farther away from home plate than he was last game. That's inviting the ball over the outside corner.
Swish! Fouls it back. He's in the hole 0-2. Danny Heap on deck. Sanderson, a very slow worker. Many think he'd be more effective if he worked quicker. 0-2 the count. The pitch. Fastball barely missed. He thought he had the corner.
Steve Lake is a very comfortable catcher for pitchers to work to. He gives you a good target, sets up well, usually away.
Now the pitch. Hernandez is back easily. Cubs are assured of no worse than a split now in the series. They've won their last 5 in a row from the Mets. Slow curve outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Brocklander with a very narrow strike zone. Darryl Strawberry, 22-year-old youngster, star right fielder. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The pitch. High fly ball, center field will be caught. Henry Cotto has it to retire this side. No runs, no hits. No errors, 1 left. We go into the bottom of the first inning, no score. Caray back at Wrigley Field. There you see Ed Lynch. He's 180, he's lost 6. He doesn't throw real hard, does he?
No, he doesn't. He relies on a sinker ball. And, Harry, the Texas Rangers would have quite a pitching staff if they would have held on to their young pitchers. Both Ron Darling and Walt Terrell came from Texas, as did Ed Lynch, who came from Texas in 1979 as the player to be named later in the Willie Montanez transaction. So the Rangers have been very good to the Mets, and we see another one of their young products.
For them to trade away prospects like that, you'd think they'd be loaded. But they aren't. They're only last in the American League West. Here's Cotto, the first pitch in there for a strike call. Henry batting .272. No homers. 8 RBIs. That evens a count, a ball and a strike.
Lynch gives up a lot of hits, so he can't afford to walk a lot of hitters. He's only walked 17 hitters in 89 and 2/3 innings, but he's given up 108 hits. And there's Dennis Eckersley taking a workout. He'll move back a day in the rotation.
There's a strike call. Joe and Dave Wanek, diehard Cub fans from Neeline, Nebraska, are here. Foul back into the stands. Congratulations to Einar Bogren, who's a groundskeeper for the Cubs, and his wife Elaine, who is celebrating their 25th wedding anniversary. It's also her birthday. 1-2 the count. Henry Cotto trying to get something started. Fouled back. He's staying alive. You're watching Chicago Cubs baseball over WGN Channel 9 Chicago, America's #1 sports station, where you'll see the news every night at 9 o'clock. At 9 on 9. 1-2 pitch. Line drive, right field, a base hit. Cotto opens up with a single to right. Boy, he went with that pitch beautifully to the opposite field.
Lynch has given up a lot of home runs this year. He's tied for the staff lead with Ron Darling with 11. That's 11 in 89 and 2/3. And anytime you give up more than one home run per 9 innings, you give up a lot of long balls.
Here's Ryan Sandberg. He had 1 out of 5 in the first game. First pitch a little bit inside. Sandberg hitting .327 now for the year with 15 homers and 65 RBI. He stole his 20th base in the first game. There's a fastball inside, ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. It's cooled off considerably. And the clouds are outpointing the sun at the moment. 2 balls, no strikes. There's a fastball in there. 2 balls and a strike.
Lynch is making his 26th appearance, and this is his 12th start. It's difficult to maintain your consistency when you're shuttled in and out of the bullpen, but somehow Lynch has been able to enjoy pinpoint control this year.
Here's the pitch. High drive in the right field will be caught. Strawberry coming over, and he has it. Sandberg fly to Strawberry. 1 out. Here's Thad Bosley. He didn't play in the first game. He's playing right field in place of Moreland, with Moreland playing third in place of Say. Bosley hitting .176, no homers, 2 RBI.
Bosley did get an at-bat in the first game of this series yesterday. And he lined out to left field, hit the ball very hard, but right at George Foster.
Here's the pitch. Fastball low and away. 1 ball, no strikes. Van Bosley. Low ball 2. Leon Durham on deck. Bosley has had a triple out of his 6 hits. Fouled it out of play. 2 balls and a strike. Manager Jim Frey playing all of his irregulars in the second game. Only 3 men who started the first game are playing in the second game. The pitch. Bouncing ball headed for right field. Whoa, what a nice play. Safe, he beat it out. Beckman made a sparkling play, but Bosley beat it out.
Bosley hustling right from the get-go. Turned this one into a base hit. Wally Beckman makes a fine play, showing you great range to his left. This ball's headed for right field. Beckman takes 1 too many steps before firing to first, and Bosley gets there an eyelash before the throw. Nice play by Hernandez.
Here's Durham now, hitting .304 for the year. He hit his 16th homer of the year in the first game. Good fastball in there for a strike call. Durham was 1 out of 5 in the first contest, and that was his home run. Ed Lynch getting ready. Here's the pitch. High, almost chased it. That evens a count, a ball and a strike. Oh, I remember, Steve, I never ate lunch because I couldn't afford it. Now I can afford it and we don't have the time. You never get ahead in this life.
Well, you came on the spot. Good interview between games, and you'll be thusly rewarded.
Here's the 1-1 pitch. Slung on, a high fly ball, center field. It'll be caught. Mookie Wilson is there. The runners hold up. That'll bring up Moreland. Moreland has really been carrying the ball club the last 10 days, hitting .291 with 14 homers, 53 RBI. He had the game-winning hit in the first game, marking his 6th such of the year.
Lynch had a pretty good year for the Mets last year, considering where the Mets finished, which was last. Lynch was 10-10 with a .428 earned run average. He started 27 games, and he was looked to as one of the most dependable starters on the Mets. But this year, with a couple of youngsters coming through, Ron Darling and Dwight Gooden, Lynch has been asked to pull the duty in the bullpen, and he's done a good job this year for New York.
There's Keith Moreland. The pitch. Fastball a little bit low. 1 ball, no strikes. 2 on, 2 out. Now the delivery. Fastball in there, a strike call. Here's the stretch of the pitch. A little bit outside, ball 2. Arnie Harris just reminds me that take me out to the ball game. It'll be 3 times today you people have been forced to listen to it because of being on your interview, Steve. 2 balls with a strike. Now that's what you call capital punishment.
We've got a lot of people calling in asking not to show that, but
here's the pitch outside, ball 3. Jay Johnstone on deck. It was only 11 days ago that the Mets had a 4.5 game lead over the Cubs after winning the first game of that series in New York. Now the Cubs are leading by 2.5. They've made up 7 games in 11 days. Oh, the bases are loaded. Here's Jay Johnstone. Boy, I hope he goes up looking for an off-speed curveball. Low and outside, ball 1. Bases loaded, 2 out. A chance to get out in front. There you see. Cotto at third, Bosley at second. Hernandez playing deep, not holding the runner on. Swings and he fouls it back. He knocked somebody. Somebody lost his Budweiser on that foul ball. Knocked the cup right out of his hand.
Lynch hasn't thrown in a week, so perhaps that's what's affecting his control. He lost to St. Louis last time out.
Ball is inside, ball 2. Ball's in a strike. Bases loaded, 2 out. Jay Johnstone, the hitter. Ed Lynch is ready. Ground ball, that's easy. Shortstop's got it. Over to first to retire the side. Johnstone rolled to Santana. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, 3 left. At the end of 1 inning, no score. Harry Caray back at Wrigley Field as we go into the top of the 2nd inning now. No score. Cubs won the first game 8-6. Dan Heap's going to be leading it off. Hey, even out in Montana, they love the Cubs. There's a big banner been parading through here. Sarasota loves the Cubs. And Biloxi, Mississippi. That banner reads, "Half Pennant will travel." Here's Heap leading it off. Now ball, that ought to be easy. Durham takes it. 1 away.
George Foster getting a rest here in the 2nd game, and Danny Heap taking his place.
Boy, the Cubs are resting Say and Matthews and Dernier and Jody. 1 out, nobody on.
Pretty good bench for pinch hitting duties late in the ball game. Chapman's done a good job for the Mets at second base. He usually plays against left-handers. This will be a new experience for him.
Here's a fastball a little bit low.
Also, third base will be a new experience for him. You can shift pretty easily from second to third, but shifting to shortstop is the toughest shift in the infield.
There's a high pop fly, short center. Cotto coming in, easy out. 2 up, 2 down. Kelvin Chapman flies out. That'll bring up Rafael Santana. He was 1 out of 3 in the first game. He's hitting .290 now for the year. No homers, 3 RBI.
Number 3, shortstop.
In Sanderson's last outing against the Mets on July 29th, he went 7 2/3 and won the game 5-1. That was the game that the Cubs gave up the 1 run, the only run all day.
Attention media.
2 out, nobody on.
This is Chapman's first major league start.
There's a high pop fly.
Third base. Repeating his
Under the
first
ball,
major
a
league
left
start
fielder.
at third
Johnstone makes the catch. 1, 2, 3, an easy inning. We're going to the bottom of the 2nd. No score. Harry Caray and Steve Stone were back at Wrigley Field. Going to the bottom of the 2nd with no score. They're watching the game down in Grapevine, Texas. There you see Dave Johnson, the manager of the Mets. That's Frank Howard to his left doing the talking. Frank from Green Bay, Wisconsin. Steve Lake will be leading it off.
The last ball game Steve Lake started, he got a couple of hits, hit the ball hard to left center field. Pretty fine batting average, and he gives the Cubs an opportunity to rest Jody Davis and not lose anything defensively. And Steve has been a surprise offensively. Every opportunity he's had, he's stroked the ball with authority.
Lake is hitting .294 with 1 homer and 3 RBIs. Ed Lynch's pitch. Fastball right in there, a strike call. Die-hard Cub fan is Tim O'Keefe down in Fort Walton, Florida. Fouled it back, had a good cut. He's in the hole, though, 0-2. The temperature at 4 o'clock has dropped to 76. The wind's out of the northwest now at 3. So not much of a factor, but there's a pitch outside. It's 85 at O'Hare. A difference of 9 degrees between the lakefront and the airport. There's a good look at Ed Lynch. There's a line drive in the left center for a hit. Steve Lake signals to left center. That'll bring up Larry Boa.
He stayed with that curveball very well. Didn't overswing, just hit it softly into center field for a base hit, and Lake continues to do the job.
Larry Boa, batting left-handed, believe it or not, is hitting .186. Right-handed, he's batting .292. There's a bouncing ball, going to be a double play. Steps on second, throws to first. First pitch, Boa rolled into a double play. Two out. Here's Sanderson now. When is the point where you figure that you can hardly hit any worse right-handed and bat right-handed all the time?
I don't think you can do that after 15 years or so a switch hitter here. You see that breaking pitch coming into you so long. If you turned around and the pitcher threw a curveball, it would just be completely unhittable.
I guess you're right. Here's the pitch, a strike call. Sanderson, the hitter. Curveball outside. That evens the count with a ball and a strike. Larry Boa swinging into first pitch, bouncing to a double play. Ball is low. 2 balls and a strike.
Lynch is a pretty big fellow at 6'5", 210 pounds. Lives in Miami, Florida, born in Brooklyn, New York.
Scott Sanderson waiting. Right in there, a fastball. That evens it up at 2-2. Sanderson, like so many of the other players, and his beautiful wife will be on the Cubs cruise in November. He struck him out. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. Nobody left at the end of 2. No score.
The Bud Billiken Back to School Parade kicks off this Saturday at 10 a.m. Join me, Mary D., and my special guest star host, Todd Bridges of Different Strokes, and the California All-Stars like Foster Silvers and Stoney Jackson. Meet Hollywood's hottest stars like Mr. T and Billy D. Williams. Watch the High Steppers, hear the marching bands, and share in the excitement and fun of this year's Bud Billiken Back to School Parade. This Saturday, 10 a.m. here on WGN Channel 9.
Harry Caray back at Wrigley Field. We're going to the top of the 3rd. No score. Scott Sanderson facing Junior Ortiz. The municipal court staff from Burlington, Wisconsin, headed by Tom Dolatowski here today. There you see Jesse Orozco, their great relief pitcher. He hasn't been in the series yet because the Mets have not been in a position to protect the lead, which is when he usually comes in. Junior Ortiz, the batter. The catcher takes it low.
Ortiz wears a little thumb protector, a little rubberized donut. In case he gets jammed, that takes the shock out of it.
No homers and 11 RBIs for Ortiz.
He was ticketed as the #1 catcher by Dave Johnson. He had an opportunity but didn't hit the ball with any regularity. He's a good defensive catcher with a quick arm, likes to throw to the bases, but lost his starting job to Mike Fitzgerald, who has done a fine job for the Mets.
There's a high pop foul, out of play. The pitcher, Ed Lynch, will be next. One and two the count. Struck him out, a good slow curve. Second strikeout for Sanderson.
Both of his strikeouts have been called, and both of them have been that slow curveball.
Here's Ed Lynch, a pretty good hitting pitcher, batting .217. There's a fastball outside. They're here from Weed, California. That's 50 miles south of the Oregon border. Mountain community. There's a tap going foul on the third base line. There are many Cub fans, they say, watching out there daily. These people came out here for the American Bar Association convention, but they're spending most of their time here at Wrigley Field watching the Cubs. Bob and Carol Winston, die-hard Cub fans.
Both teams are a little bit tired. The game has taken a long time to this point. That first game was a long one, but it's a good game for the Cubs to bear down a little bit, because this could really put a crimp in the Mets' hopes.
Here's a pitch to Lynch. Whoa, did he smack that ball off of Boa's glove?
Larry had an opportunity. That was a hard hit ball. It caromed right off the glove of Boa. And Lynch shows you that he has a very good bat. Watch it again. It's a fastball on the inner half. Larry gets over there, but the ball hits off the thumb of the glove.
They called it a hit and the crowd booed. Here's Backman now. One out, one on. A fastball a little bit low. They're here from Kankakee, Momenson, Streeter. There's a fastball high. 2 balls, no strikes. The VAW from Mossville is here. Pitch to the left-hand hitter. Double play ball. Sandberg to Boa 1 to first. Oh, double play from Sandberg to Boa to Durham to retire the side. You really had to turn it over to double up Backman, who can run. And we go to the bottom of the third now. No score. Harry Caray and Steve Stone as we go now into the bottom of the third with no score.
Scott Sanderson is coasting along to this point. He's allowed the Mets only one hit, that by the pitcher Lynch. So apparently Sanderson's back is feeling okay. If he can stay healthy, the Cubs will have a very formidable 5-man starting rotation. It's a good sign that Steve Trout was moved back into his assigned start yesterday. Jim Frey had toyed with the idea of moving Dennis Eckersley up a day, but apparently Trout gave Frey the go-ahead, said that he was feeling pretty well. So now Trout will get an opportunity to throw a good one at the Mets tomorrow.
Let's hope he'll be going for a sweep when he takes the mound tomorrow afternoon. It's a regular 1:20 ball game tomorrow, and it's baseball card day here. You get a deck of baseball cards when you come through the gates tomorrow. There we go with Henry Cotto, who started the ball game with a base hit. Cotto, who's hitting 10 straight games.
One of those games was as a pinch hitter, and that's a tough way to keep a batting streak alive. You only have one at bat, and he doubled down the left field line.
Cotto takes a curve in there for a strike call. 1 strike to nothing. Ed Lynch, who had the bases loaded but worked his way out of it. He bunts by the mound. He's got a chance to beat it out, and he does. What a beautiful. He pushed the bunt right by the mound.
Cotto keeps surprising you with what he can do on the baseball field. The object of this bunt is to push it by the pitcher. Once you do that, you're home free. Lynch makes a diving attempt, but he gets it by. No chance for Backman, even if he fields this ball cleanly. And Henry Cotto is in with his second base hit.
Here's Ryan Sandberg now. Runner at first. Nobody out.
We haven't seen a well-executed hit and run in quite some time, and this is the ideal opportunity for Jim Frey to send Cotto and try for Sandberg to hit the ball behind him.
Now the stretch by Ed Lynch. There he goes. Swung and he fouled it off. Cotto was going, and Sandberg, carrying on his part of the hit and run, fouled off the pitch. Naturally, he would have preferred to hit it fair. Runner at first, nobody out. There goes the runner, swung on line drive, but right out the right fielder. Cotto is going to have to return. Ball was really hit hard. Sandberg line hard to Strawberry. Now to bring up Thad Bosley. He got an infield out in the infield hit in the first inning. Ed Lynch. One on, one out. Ed Lynch ready. The pitch. Good fastball right at the knee. Sandberg has had a tough day today, although he's hit the ball well. He only had 1 hit to show for it in 7 times at bat. 1 strike to nothing. Leon Durham on deck. High pop foul back. He's in the hole. 0-2. The Churchmans are here from Indianapolis. Oh, and 2 the count. Ball game in the 3rd. No score. There goes the runner, swung on, a high pop foul coming back. Out of play. Again, Cotto broke.
Henry's getting a workout at first base, with the idea of an 0-2 pitch perhaps used as a waste pitch. Jim Frey was sending him. Now that wasn't a hit and run. You wouldn't do that with 2 strikes. But Bosley just trying to fight off what he thought was a strike.
Now they pitch on the way. Fouled it back again and out of play. 0-2 the count. Bosley trying to get hold of one. The Cubs have had 4 hits, 2 of them by Cotto, but they haven't scored. Philadelphia and Montreal, their doubleheader just getting underway. Low fastball. One on, one out.
This might be a good pitch for Ortiz to pitch out. He's looking in the dugout to see if Davy Johnson wants a pitch out.
Yep, they pitched out, but nothing happened.
Nothing was happening, but Johnson thought that the situation called for Cotto to go, so he called the pitch out.
Now it's 2-2. Thad Bosley trying to get hold of one. Line drive, base hit into left field. Bosley singles to left. Here's Durham now with runners at first and second and 1 out. That was the same situation in the first inning when Durham flied out to center.
Well, Harry, we've had the exact same situation in the first and third. Cotto a base hit, Sandberg a fly to right, Bosley a base hit, and the same thing happened this inning. Hopefully the result with Durham will be a little bit better.
Leon Durham homered his first time up in the first game. 1 of 3 that the Cubs hit. The Cubs have now hit 100 home runs for the season. Here's a sinking fastball low. Exactly 100 home runs for the Cubs. Popped it up. Kelvin Chapman over near the stands makes the catch. I think Durham might have hurt himself. He's limping. He carried the bat with him. Looked like he might have twisted his ankle. Let's hope that's all it was.
I think it's that hamstring once again giving him some problems, Harry. He took a pretty big swing at that ball and probably caught his spikes a little bit in the batter's box, and that gave him a twinge. I would think that Jim Frey would want to rest him the rest of this one, perhaps make the move to first base. You can see Leon grabbing his hamstring. And I think that's going to be it for Leon Durham. Frey will probably make a couple adjustments. Talking to Ron Say right now, so Moreland will probably move to first. Say will probably go in at third base.
Boy, every year it's something. Durham, for a big, strong guy, has had more injury, been prone to more injuries. Too bad. Here's Moreland. Runners at first and second. Lynch's ability to get Durham has paid off twice now. The same situation in the first inning. He got Durham to fly out, walked Moreland, and got Johnstone with the bases loaded. Now with 2 out, he's pitching to Moreland.
Let's see if Moreland can come through one more time. Lynch has been throwing a lot of sinkers to the Cub hitters.
Ed Lynch is ready. Popped it up. That'll be easy. The shortstop, Santana's there to retire the side. No runs, 2 hits again. Cubs have had 5 hits in 3 innings and haven't come close to scoring. No errors, 2 men left. Milo will join Steve in a moment. This is Harry Caray from Wrigley Field. At the end of 3, there is no score.
Weeknights at 10:30 on Channel 9. William Conrad is Cannon.
It is usually called a motive for murder.
Freeze, everybody!
Throw it away or I'll explode this. You know, there are two things I can always smell, my friends. Sadists and liars. One leads the other.
Cannon. Weeknights at 10:30 on Channel 9.
This portion of Chicago Cubs baseball is brought to you by Pepsi-Cola General Bottlers. Pepsi, the choice of a new generation. Going to the fourth inning in the second game of a doubleheader. The Cubs won the opener. So far in this one, some hits, but so far nobody on that pay station. And I think maybe Durham has come up lame again.
Bronce has gone in at third base, and Keith Moreland has gone to first base. So Leon Durham has the rest of the day off, and Keith Moreland finds himself at yet another position.
He can handle it. So Scott Sanderson ready to work in the fourth inning, and he's looking at Mookie Wilson. 1 ball, no strikes. Sanderson and Lynch not too far apart in their approach. A lot of off-speed stuff here. Shallow center, Cotto on. Cotto's there. One down in the New York fourth.
Well, Lynch is going with his normal approach to the game, giving up a lot of hits but not a lot of runs, because he's only walked one hitter. He usually has pinpoint control, and Sanderson has looked very sharp here thus far today.
He's only given up one hit, and that was the pitcher Lynch. Here is Hernandez walked the first time up, and that is in there. Boston first game, Morris against Hurst. Trammell homered his 10th. Detroit leads Boston 1-0. Give you the Philadelphia-Montreal. There is a drive back into left center. That's going to be deep. It's going to be caught by Cotto. Unbelievable. Holy Toledo, one of the plays of the game, the plays of the week, and one of the plays of the year. Oh, whoa, brother, what a play. And Hernandez can't believe it.
Cotto just went up into the ivy and took it away from Jay Johnstone. Two guys who haven't played together. The communication isn't there, but watch Cotto. He goes up impervious to the wall, the collision with Johnstone, and he comes out with it. What a great play by Henry Cotto, who has done it all here as a replacement in the second game.
And Hernandez looking out there, he probably had double written all over that and thought maybe he'd even had a chance to get out of here. But Cotto, oh, what a refreshing young man he is, and the lift he gives you knowing that he's around, can play if you need him either as a starter off the bench or if Dernier has to lay out. Boy, does he strengthen things. Crowd is still buzzing over that play. 1 ball, 1 strike. Philadelphia at Montreal. Raleigh against Smith. The White Sox are at New York. Hoyt against Deshay.
It's a shame you can't play with two center fielders. Both Cotto and Dernier have been absolutely outstanding this year. Cotto has done a remarkable job. Bob Dernier also catches everything that stays in the park. And maybe one day you'll see both of them in the Cubs outfield at one time, because they are two exceptional outfielders.
Well, a lot of times now late you see them both in there together. Cotto may go to right or he may go to left. And when you've got Dernier in center, Cotto in left, and Bosley in right, not too much is going to get through. Fouled up above us. And that's one of the reasons this club is better on AstroTurf, too.
The Cubs have lost 2 players today to minor injuries. Dave Owen had to leave the first game after being struck by Ron Darling, and he hasn't returned, and Leon Durham just left this second game, so hopefully both injury reports will be favorable.
2-2. And he fills it on Strawberry with nobody on and 2 away. Heap is on deck.
This has got to be as strong a bench as the Cubs have had in many a year. Every time Jim Frey goes to the bench, the player responds with a big effort.
Payoff. Got him. Bring up another strikeout for Scotty, his third. And you think Henry Cotto will get a hand when he comes in here? You know he will. They'll be waiting for him down above that dugout. Still 0-0, middle of the 4th. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Wrigley Field in Chicago. Milo Hamilton and Steve Stone taking you through the middle of this one. And a big day of baseball here. The Cubs won the opener 8-6. And Lynch is looking at Jay Johnstone, who probably saw Cotto flying over him on that great catch.
You didn't say flying by him, did you?
Well, it could be. How did flying by him do the other night, by the way? Tried to butt his way on, fouled it back. I'm waiting for the day when flying by him lives up to his name. So's Arnie.
Well, right now he's been flying by 5 of them. We got to get him flying by 7 of them.
Big Frank Howard. He can dwarf a dugout. They got him standing up on the other side to balance the field. McSherry's umpiring at third. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Cubs have out hit him 5-1, but nobody has scored as yet. 4th inning. 2-2 to the Jaybird as he leads off in the 4th.
There's a look at Dave Johnson, who can't be too happy with what he's seen the first 2 games of this series. But right now, Lynch is doing a pretty good job of sneaking by the Cubs.
2-2. That'll be a fair ball. It'll kick way down over the bullpen mound. With a play in front of him, Johnstone will go to second. And a leadoff double, and his second double of the year.
It's an off-speed pitch, and the Jaybird is ready for it. He pounds it by Keith Hernandez at first base. And if you're going to play a man to hit to center field, you can't throw him change-ups. They had played Jay around toward left center, and then Lynch pulled the string on Johnstone. With Hernandez way off the line, Johnstone took advantage of it for 2 bases.
Well, it's the 4th inning in a row that the Cubs have led off with a hit. Let's see if this is the inning to make something happen. Lake had a leadoff single in the 2nd, then was erased in a double play. Good stop of that pitch by Junior Ortiz.
If you're on the mound, if you're Ed Lynch, you're thinking about trying to get Steve Lake to hit the ball to the left side so Johnstone doesn't advance. If you're Steve Lake, you're thinking about either inside outing an inside fastball or tapping the ball to the right side. You've got to get Johnstone to third with less than 2 outs.
Got it to Hernandez, flips to him. Hey, he almost beat the wrap. Steve Lake hustled down that line.
He did his job. He didn't take anything for granted. Lynch was slow getting over to first base, and it was by an eyelash that he retired Lake. Take a look at it. Hernandez is waiting for him to get over there. When he finally does, Lake is hustling down the line. Woo! Just an instant before him, but Jay Johnstone moves to third.
Larry Boa waiting because Ortiz is talking with Lynch.
He's talking about the suicide, what he wants him to do in case he sees the runner going. Lynch will undoubtedly take a stretch. Larry Boa will be looking down at Don Zimmer to see exactly what Jim Frey wants to do.
The injury update on Leon Durham. Durham left the ball game with a cramp in his left hamstring. A cramp in his left
It's a cramp in the left hamstring for the 2nd day in a row in Durham. It took him out of the action yesterday. Infield up all the way around. Boa waiting for that pitch. And And that will be smothered by Hernandez, and he'll throw to the plate, but he didn't tag Boa. There is a fluke.
He couldn't believe that Jay Johnstone didn't run on the play. He came up firing, never looking at first base. Johnstone, as soon as he saw Hernandez keep the ball in the infield, he didn't run. And that's unusual. It's not a base hit for Boa, it's a fielder's choice. And watch it again. You'll never see Keith Hernandez do this probably the rest of his career. He makes a great stop, comes up firing, but there's no play on anybody. Look at Johnstone.
Look at that play.
He fires from his knees. Nobody coming home.
Instinct said bring it home, didn't it?
There you see Jay. He's not doing anything, and Boa winds up safely at first base. A mental mistake by Keith Hernandez.
Well, if they were looking for the suicide before, they got to be looking for it here.
Once again, the meeting at the mound. And the Met infield will be in all the way around. Sanderson does swing the bat pretty well, but he didn't swing the bat well the first time up. So Jim Frey once again will have an opportunity. And this could be a safety squeeze. You don't send the man from third base until you see if Sanderson can get the ball down. In that case, a bunt to the right side, much like Henry Cotto did, trying to push it by the pitcher, would be the play.
All right, teammates on the corners. Sanderson ready. And a big bender, and he looks at it. Strike one. Sanderson with a chance to get himself on top. We're in a scoreless game, fourth inning. Cubs keep putting the traffic on. Need to get that one big breakthrough here. That's a ball to make it 1-1.
Sanderson has 18 lifetime RBIs, 3 this year.
Johnstone third, Boa first. Now, time call to... No, not really, because Boa just took a step back, wanted to hear something from Vukovic, his coach, at first. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Runners on the corners for him. And with the 1-2 count, Lynch looks in to get his sign from Junior Ortiz. Second, and Scott Sanderson does indeed put himself on top.
His 19th career RBI is 4th this year, and Ed Lynch hung a curveball. Watch it, it just spins up there, and Sanderson drives it through the left side. Johnstone scores easily. Boa moves up only 1 base, and the Cubs go on top by 1.
All right. Waiting now for Sanderson to get on the warm-up jacket. Henry Cotto, 2 for 2, will be the hitter. And he made one of the most fantastic catches we've seen all year. All right, looks like Scott's ready. Boa second, Sanderson first, 1 out. Cotto with his 2 hits in this game, giving him a 10-game hitting streak. Way outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Lynch looks like he has better control and location with his breaking stuff than he does the fastball.
If Henry wants to lay the ball down third base, Kelvin Chapman is playing 5 steps in back of third base. This is the first game that he's ever played at that position in the major leagues.
1 ball, 1 strike. Well, if that's true, you'd think that their infield coach would be guiding him through every situation with a towel, wouldn't you?
I don't understand why he's playing as far back as he is right now, because Cotto is an adept bunter. We've seen him bunt the ball down third base, and Chapman is just about saying, here, I'll give you a base hit.
Last time he pushed a bunt by the mound and beat it out. He bunts up the third base side. He'll never get him. You just might as well peel it and eat it.
Nothing he can do. He was back too far. Henry Cotto shows you why he is becoming one of the more valuable Cubs. And all Kelvin Chapman can do is get it back to Lynch.
And Ryne Sandberg with the bases loaded with a chance to break through here now and give Sanderson something to work with. Bo at third, Sanderson second. Cotto with his third hit of the game is at first. Sandberg looking for his first hit in this game. He is 2 for 11 in the series. Ball one. Second time as a part-time player that Henry Cotto's had 3 hits in a game this year. That's a ball, and it's 2-0.
Nobody up for the Mets in their bullpen, so Dave Johnson says to Lynch, it's your game. Go get him, big guy.
And Frank Howard, the fellow he replaced as the skipper. 2 balls, no strikes. Bases loaded. Foul back. 2-1.
Sandberg has 1 lifetime grand slam.
Hit it off the Houston Astros to right center at Wrigley Field.
And Scott Sanderson's got himself a lead, and it was his base hit, not only that put him up, but put Ed Lynch into the box he's in now.
2 balls and a strike. Foul back, out of play, 2-2. This crowd is ready to really let this ball club have it if they get a base hit here. You know, you talked about the bench and its depth. The versatility is there also. And it would even be more if Hebner were to come back. But boy, as it is, Jim Frey has a lot of people to move around, and he moves them. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That's to the second baseman. He can't find a handle. Safe everywhere. Boa scores 2-0.
It took a bad hop on Bachman and hit him right off the left arm. This is a tailor-made double play. Watch the hop. It comes up and hits Bachman off the left side, and it's going to be an error on Wally Bachman. No RBI, but the Cubs pick up a run and still have the bases loaded.
Bosley 2 for 2. And the bases are loaded for Thaddeus. Oh, what a rip he had. They're just taking toe holds on Lynch.
Bosley can break it wide open right here and really put the Mets in a tough spot if he can come through with a base hit. This would be the inning to salt this game away. Sanderson is throwing exceptionally well, and you've got a rested Stoddard and Smith to come in if Sanderson falters.
Center, it's playable. It will also get Sanderson home. Here comes Scott, and the other runners move up 90 feet apiece. Sacrifice fly RBI for Bosley. Second out of the inning, and the crowd loves it all.
Bosley hits this ball pretty well, far enough for everybody to tag up. Alert base running by Ryne Sandberg at first base, taking advantage of Wilson's arm. Sanderson scores easily, and Sandberg moves up to second. Runners on second and third, an opportunity for the Penguin to drive in some runs.
Forcey gets in there to hit. Want to remind you, you're watching the Cubs and the Mets on WGN Television 9 in Chicago, Chicago's very own and America's #1 sports station. Score 2 more. Cotto home. Sandberg home. It's a 2-run double, and Penguin power does live again.
Ponce pounds it by Kelvin Chapman at third base. This is the biggest hit of the inning. There you can see John McSherry calling it fair. Henry Cotto scores. Sandberg scores, and the Cubs go on top 5-0. And somebody should start throwing in the Mets bullpen. There's the Penguin, his 17th double of the year, and the replacement for Leon Durham comes up right on time.
Now it's Moreland with a walk and a pop-up. They hit him. Now that'll really break it up. And the brawl is on because pennant fever is erupting here. There's no doubt about Moreland going after him, because in that situation, he deliberately threw at him. There's no doubt about it.
They're trying to restrain Rick Sutcliffe, who is still angry about the first game. They put out Dave Owen in that first game, and both sides going at one another. Frustration on the part of the Mets.
In the heat of the battle, with two teams battling for the top of the division, Moreland, there was no pause to refresh. He went right after him. And the crowd answering the New York fans with "Let's go Cubs." Nothing left but trainers and towels. Sutcliffe, I tell you, I didn't realize Sutcliffe was that emotional. I know he's intense as a pitcher, but he might have broken a new record for getting out there. And there's the big Paul Bunyan of the pitching staff. Oh, there's some hot blood going here.
Well, the Mets have twice thrown intentionally at Cubs players today. And once again, if you do it first, you can pretty much get away with it, because home plate umpire Fred Brocklander now will warn Jim Frey, and if the Cub pitcher retaliates and Sanderson is not qualified for the win yet, then he'll be thrown out of the ball game.
Now the umpires are going to have to really collect things here, or they're going to have another incident on their hands. Have done the right thing here. They're going to put the responsibility right on the managers and say, you better get back into those dugouts, and cooler heads better prevail. You saw that's what they did. The crew chief, John McSherry, called both of the managers right there with the plate umpire Brocklander. Frey and Davey Johnson have been told that they're not going to stand for any more nonsense.
Now Fred Brocklander is out talking with Ed Lynch.
Jay Johnstone, who started the inning with a base hit, will be the batter.
I think Moreland is okay. He took that ball off the thigh, it looked like. Fortunately, it didn't hit him off any of the bones. And there you look at the dugout for the Mets. A little excitement here as the Cubs are literally running this New York club out of the ballpark.
The frustration of losing that first game, I think, is really taking its toll on the New York Mets. They got out in front twice and couldn't hold on, then got buried. And they have been beaten by the Cubs 5 times in a row, and it may go to 6.
Let's take another look at what precipitated that brawl. No doubt about the intention right here. Watch the pitch. It's 2 feet inside. Hits Keith Moreland right in the thigh, and Moreland goes out there.
The old linebacker doesn't take you out with a punch, he'll take you out with the old rolling block. He did that up at Montreal a couple of years ago. Foul back by Johnstone.
It's one of the few times you will ever see a man charge the pitcher and stay in the ball game. That's pretty unusual, but apparently the umpires felt there was some justification because they haven't thrown anybody out.
No balls, 1 strike. Bathe swings, high fly ball back into right field, playable by Strawberry, and the side has been retired. But the Cubs sent 10 men to the plate. They score 5 big runs. 5 runs on 1, 2, 3, 4 hits. An error on Bachman that in essence really opened the floodgate, because had he come up with it, it would have been a double play. And now after 4 innings, the Cubs are in front 5-0.
Tonight at 7, through the German ranks of World War II comes a private battle between Field Marshal Erwin Rommel and Adolf Hitler.
Maybe I'd been better if I had replaced you altogether.
A plot to assassinate the Führer's plan. But the price for treason will be paid.
Choice to die now or later.
James Mason and Leo G. Carroll star in The Desert Fox, tonight at 7 on Channel 9.
Going to be held up a little bit here because the debris in right center and out in left field, somebody's going to have to pick that up. Hey, look at Rick Russell. You think he got popped?
He looks like he's been in the Olympics. He's got a good left shiner on there. Looks like he took a pop in the fight. You know, Milo, I was tempted to charge the Met booth, but Tim McCarver's a little too big, so I figured I'd just stay here with you.
All right. In the 5th inning, Danny Heap, who bounced out to the first baseman in the 2nd, will be leading it off.
Now remember, Sanderson really can't retaliate because he'll be thrown out of the game. But
that's the inequity of that rule.
I wouldn't be surprised if sometime tomorrow you see the Cubs maybe express their displeasure about the incidents of today to the Met Ball Club.
Tom Gorman now warming for the Mets. Tom Gorman.
Artie Harris just got a call in the truck from Blake Cullen at the National League office in New York requesting a tape of the last inning. So it'll be safe at first for Danny Heap. And Moreland came on, thought he had it all away, and it just didn't come up in the right direction for him.
The infield's at its most treacherous in the top of the 5th inning because in the last of the 5th they drag it. And then what they do is smooth out all the spike marks. So now all the spike marks from this ball game are still in evidence, and that's what happened on that ball. It hit one of the spike marks, took a bad hop on Keith Moreland, and he's charged with an error.
Now it'll bring up Kelvin Chapman. 0 for 1 today, flied to center in the 2nd inning. He's 0 for 5 for the year against Cubs pitching. Now in the instruction from the bench, Moreland going to back off behind the runner with a 5-run lead. Heap at first on the error charge to Moreland. And the hitter had asked for time. Plate umpire called it.
Sanderson did something very dangerous. He got halfway into his motion and he stopped. The umpire ever calls time, just go through with the pitch. It won't hurt you at all that way.
1 ball, no strikes. The Cubs with a 5-run 4th, trying to sweep the Mets in a doubleheader for the first time in a week and a half. They did it at New York, remember.
After that big brawl, the Cubs have to hold their composure right here. That really psychs up both clubs. And the Mets needed a fire lit under them. That brawl might do it.
Now that hit him, and he's going to be thrown out of the game. But in that situation, he couldn't have been throwing at him. But it's automatic.
that's going to be it for Scott Sanderson. And I don't believe he was thrown at him. That pitch just barely nicked Chapman, and it wasn't that far inside. So Sanderson won't get the opportunity to win this ball game. He's going to leave 3 outs shy of 5 innings. And that is a frustrated young man on the mound right now.
So Scott Sanderson will have to leave, and Tim Stoddard will come in. Sanderson will get a big hand. He's pitched a good, strong game here. But he has been ejected by Brocklander. What about the manager?
I think that it's automatic ejection for the manager also. We'll have to see how the umpires handle this. I think the rule states that the manager and the pitcher are ejected. But now Tim Stoddard will have as long as he wants to warm up, but he's in a jam. He's got a Met on first and second base. There's nobody out here in the top of the 5th inning. So once again, it's turned into an exciting ball game, and now he's going to get the interpretation from John McSherry. He wants to find out if it's an automatic ejection. I think it has to be in the umpire's discretion if he thinks the pitcher was thrown at the hitter, and I don't think that Sanderson was thrown at him, but I'm sure we will take another look at that pitch just to see how far it was inside.
You're going to get it right here.
It's a fastball. Gets him off the forearm. Chapman winds up at first base. Sanderson winds up in the showers, as does Jim Frey. And so now Don Zimmer will manage the ball club, and the ground crew will come out to try to scrape up all the debris that's been thrown out on the field.
They may think they're doing a job that can't be done. It keeps coming out as fast as they pick it up.
I wish the fans would understand that all they're doing is delaying the game. And I know they're going to express their displeasure with the umpiring in this situation, but it's best to do it via the boo route rather than making a job for some guys. And you might have a fielder hurt if he slips on some of the debris that's out there.
So Jim Frey, before he leaves, is going to check things over.
Jim Frey has also been ejected from the ball game.
And he'll make sure that everybody understands his thinking on that lineup card, as Jim Frey will join Scott Sanderson on the ejection route.
What a bad break for Scott Sanderson. Going after win number 7, he had shut him out for 4, was throwing the ball exceptionally well. Only 1 Met hit, that by the pitcher Ed Lynch.
And that was questionable.
And there you take a look at some of the debris thrown out by the fans. Well, they're certainly getting their money's worth in this doubleheader of the day. They've seen it all. An exciting first game. The Cubs came on top 8-6. And there you see
the All-American game.
Tim Stoddard still isn't loose yet. He will get some extra time to warm up because the ground crew has to go out and try to clean up the outfield. Left field is pretty well completed. Now they've got to go and clean up right field. And there you look at the umpiring crew. They're just trying to make sure that this game does not get out of hand. You've got to understand their point of view. The last thing that they need is another bench-clearing brawl here. So Fred Brocklander took control, and he threw out Scott Sanderson. And now everything should return to normal. Tim Stoddard is out there. He's ready to go. The only thing that's not ready to go is the ground crew. And the Mets are trying to claw their way back into this from 5 runs back.
And while they're waiting for the ground crew to do a job that's going to have to be done before this game can go on, Stoddard out there with Say and Boa and the umpiring crew. All right, now what happens if Stoddard hits somebody?
I believe if Stoddard hits somebody and they rule it's intentional, then Stoddard would also leave the ball game, but they might have to throw Jim Frey out again.
So with the ground crew continuing to do their job out in right center now, Stoddard going to get a chance to throw a few more. And here's the situation he's inherited. Heap is on first on an error on Moreland. Chapman is first hit by a pitch. And the batter will be the shortstop, Rafael Santana. Then Ortiz, then probably their bench because they had been throwing Gorman in the pen again.
And Gorman is ready to go. So in case they decide that it's going to be time to go to the bench, and they've got George Foster sitting there as well as Rusty Staub, who they wouldn't use this early in a ball game.
No.
And Ron Hodges also is an available pinch hitter. So perhaps Ed Lynch has seen his last pitch of the day. The outfield's starting to get loose because their arms have gotten a little tight. And I think the ground crew is going to leave, and that's going to be it. We're going to get back to baseball and back to the Cubs trying to hold this lead.
And the ground crew should get a nice hand. They did a heck of a job with that mess out there.
Well, you can't beat fun at the old ballpark, and we've seen enough of it here today. Between the home runs, the hit batsmen, the ejections, and Cub rallies, this has been quite a doubleheader for a standing room only crowd.
And a Pier 6 brawl in the boot.
And they are everywhere, standing 4 and 5 deep on the rafters. You look around, nobody's left the ballpark. It seems to be getting fuller. And tomorrow should be more of the same here as the Mets are back for one more ball game before the Cubs go on the road for a long road trip. The Mets go home, and so that'll be their time to try to pick up some of the ground that they will probably lose during this series.
They've gone to a right-hander in their pen now, and it's Gaff, G-A-F-F. Waiting for the ground crew to disappear into their clubhouse down in the left field corner, and then Santana will be stepping in. Santana flied to left in the second inning. He's 2 for 8 in this series. Hasn't been overmatched in the games we've seen him at the plate, and has played some fine shortstop against the Cubs. All right, now we're ready. Stoddard ready to throw his first pitch in relief. Oh, you are right. That is a tough situation for Sanderson. Have to leave with a 5-0 lead on an ejection. Strike call.
Stoddard is 7-4 with a .265 earned run average, making his 43rd appearance in 68 innings. He's given up 52 hits, 69 strikeouts, and 43 walks. And this will be his game. If he throws pretty well, he'll get the win.
0-1 to Santana. And that's a swinging strike. Got him in a hole. 0-2. Junior Ortiz is next. At Montreal, Juan Samuel hit an inside the park home run. Hit him on the fist and popped him up. Infield fly rule. Sandberg will squeeze it. 1 away. And this is the time for Stoddard to shut the door. In other words, I think the delay would take some of the steam out of the brawl and maybe slow the Mets down a little. And if you do it also out on that mound, and they look up and say, hey, we had something going, and we didn't get anything out of an error and a hit batsman, and we got their starting pitcher out of the game. And there's the ambulance just in case. Oh, Arnie, your guys are right on all of it.
Well, I agree with you. This is a big inning for Stoddard and the Cubs. If they can shut down the Mets right here, this will take a lot out of that offense.
One ball, one strike. Boston leading Detroit 5-3 after an inning and a half. Yeah, that's a Fenway Park game, all right. They've had 9 outs and 8 runs have scored. Buckner hit his 6th in that game. He had one yesterday. 2 on, 1 out. Ortiz was called out on strikes in the 3rd. A ball, and it's 2-1. Philadelphia leading Montreal 1-0 on the inside the Parker by Juan Samuel.
If Stoddard can throw a fastball away from Ortiz, they're liable to come up with a double play. Ortiz doesn't run that well.
Bullseye. 2-2. Heap at second, Chapman at first. 2-2 from Stoddard. That'll fill it. Rusty Staub is on deck. And I think we both thought it was a little early for him, didn't we?
Davy Johnson doesn't know how many more shots he's going to get at the Cubs. He figures he'll put his best up right now.
3-2. Turning, but no throw. Heap really wasn't that far away from the bag, and by the time Boa got in there, Stoddard wisely held on to it. Whoa, a ball, and the bases are loaded. Now the Staub situation makes more sense. Staub is 0 for 2 in this series as a pinch hitter. First walk by Stoddard, of course, only the second walk to the Mets. And here they are with a bases-loaded situation. They've done it without a hit. Error 3, hit batsman, and a walk. And Rusty Staub, the batter, a .245 average, no homers, 9 RBIs, but tough as a pinch hitter, one of the best. As I mentioned, 0 for 2. He was a pinch hitter in each of the first 2 games. And this year against the Cubs, 2 for 7 with a run batted in. Fly ball, right center. Bosley is there. Catch is made, and coming home is Heap, and the goose egg has gone off the Met board. Sacrifice fly for Staub. 2 away in the inning. Heap scored. It's 5-1. The other runners had to hold on, and here's the swing.
Another RBI for Rusty Staub. There you can see Bosley wisely getting the ball into second base. For Staub, that's his 10th RBI as a pinch hitter.
Here is Wally Backman. He's 0 for 2. Struck out in the first, hit into a double play in the third. And a strike.
That run will be charged to Scott Sanderson, but it will be unearned.
That'll do little to pacify him for not being able to get a win. 1 ball, 1 strike. Doubleheader day at Wrigley Field. Oh, the emotions are all there, on and off the field. 2-1. Looks like Stoddard is throwing outside of himself. By that I mean, as big a guy as he is, he's got that good hard stuff anyway, and it looks like maybe he's overthrowing right now.
He's gone through some periods where he has been wild. He hasn't been in there for a little bit, so perhaps he's a little bit rusty. He was also called into a situation that he didn't anticipate.
2-1. Line foul down the left side. That'll level it to Backman at 2-2. They've scored the run without a hit, but it's on the board. The Cubs are leading 5-1. They won the opener 8-6. Finale here tomorrow, and we'll be on Channel 9 at 1 o'clock with the leadoff. And Trout, who's been on again, off again, is on again, and he will pitch tomorrow in the series finale and end up this homestand. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And he filled it on Backman. Mookie Wilson due up next. Stoddard muscling up on that high hard one, and it just keeps going up. Wally Backman steps back up in there with a 3-2 count. Runners will be ready to go with 2 down. Fouled it back.
Attention media, here are today's attendance figures. The paid crowd, 39,271, 39271. The total in the house, 40,324, 40324.
Over 40,000 in the park, 39,271 paid. Largest paid crowd of 84. Fouled up to the left. 5th largest crowd of 84. and you continue to get those over 30,000 crowds on this homestand. And if the indicators I get about tomorrow, it's going to be about the same here, isn't it?
I don't think there's too many left. And I'm sure they'll be selling lots of standing room come tomorrow afternoon.
Runners going. Lined it down the left side. It will drop in. And a run will score. It's 5-2. Chapman comes home. Ortiz to second. Base hit for Bachman to left field. And it's a 5-2 game.
Bachman trying to atone for that error. Battles Stoddard and wins the battle. Driving the ball right in front of Jay Johnstone. Gets it back in, but Chapman scores the second run. Both runs charged to Sanderson.
Wilson's bounced to first, flied to center. Picked up 4 hits in this series and 11 at-bats. 1 ball, no strikes. Cubs 5, Mets 2. 2 on with 2 out. Got enough of the corner for the strike. One ball and 1 strike. Fouled off to the left. Jack Rosenberg, the man with the quick figures.
4 innings, 1 hit, 2 runs.
In round figures, project, just say 40 tomorrow. What would we leave home with in that paid? In other words, add 80 to what you got on there today, and you'll be right with it, within a number or 2. Moreland will flip it to Stoddard. They get Mookie Wilson, and the side has been retired. A tough inning and only 1 hit, but 2 runs score on 1 hit. 1 error, 1 hit batsman, and 2 left. There was also a walk. So in the middle of this one, the Cubs lead by 3.
Now Channel 9 has a half-hour newscast to begin your day.
With Chicago's first report of weather, sports, news, business, and agribusiness.
Weekday mornings at 6 on Channel 9.
All right, the new pitcher will be Gaff. Now, in 54 dates, 1,437,000, that'll be up around roughly 40 tomorrow, which means that on your first date home, on the next homestand, you're probably going to beat last year's total attendance. They'll just about get to it tomorrow, won't they?
Brent Gaff is coming into the game. Gaff threw in the first game. He threw an inning in the third, gave up 1 hit and no runs. Gaff is making his 26th appearance. He's got a 1-1 record with a .333 earned run average.
So Gaff appearing for the 3rd time in this series. He's been in every game. And he's pitched much better in this series than he did at New York. And Steve Lake, who is 1 for 2, will lead it off in the bottom of the 5th inning with the Cubs leading by 3. Fly ball right field. Easy play for Strawberry. Lake out, 1 pitch and 1 down. That'll bring up Boa. Boa's 0 for 2. Scored a run after reaching on a fielder's choice in the 4th inning.
Gaff came up through the Mets system, was their 6th round draft choice in the 1977 draft.
Bouncer to second. Wally Bachman lays back, fires, got him. 2 down. Now it'll be Stoddard stepping in. A strike to Big Tim. Batting here with nobody on in front of him and 2 away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Looks like Tim's decided to go for the big grizzly again. He can grow a beard between appearances.
He shaved it off to change his luck, and then he started throwing the ball well. So apparently he's going to see if he can grow it back.
Fouled out of play down to the right side.
Gaff spent some time with the Mets in both 82 and 83. In 82, when he came up to New York, he was used as a starting pitcher.
Bill Buckner just hit another home run. Boston gets 5 more, and after 2 innings, Boston leads Detroit 10-3. And Armas hit his 31st, and Armas was a grand slam. Yeah, that's Fenway Park, folks. And that isn't even all of it up there. They need another 5 for Boston. Strikeout here. Side retired for Gaff. 3 up, 3 down. So we played through 5. Cubs lead 5-2. We come back and go to the 6th inning. That's the tell of the tape right there. The Cubs won the opener 8-6. So Stoddard, who'll be ready to work his 2nd inning, will look at Hernandez, Strawberry, and Heap. They'll all bat left-handed. Hernandez has walked and was robbed of extra bases in the 4th when Cotto made a great play in deep left center. Went right up into the ivy over Jay Johnstone. 1 ball, no strikes. One and 0. A ball. Well, baseball here, but one of America's great softball players is at the park today. Donahue came out all by himself. Had to see his Cubbies. Two balls and a strike. Hernandez is 3 for 8 in this series. Had 3 RBIs in the first game today, but they fell short as the Cubs beat them 8-6. Down the left side, that's trouble. Johnstone will chase it to the base of the ivy. And Hernandez won't be stopped this time. He'll get the double to lead off the inning.
It's his 20th double of the year, and Stoddard is not throwing the ball very well. Fastball away. Hernandez takes it to the left side, slicing it down past Jay Johnstone. No chance to get that one. And Don Zimmer has got to be looking out there right now, wondering about Tim Stoddard, perhaps concerned if he can hold this lead.
Mike Schmidt at his 22nd homer at Montreal. 3-run homer. They lead Montreal 4-0 now. And the strike to Strawberry. Strawberry has flied to center, struck out swinging, been limited to 1 hit and 8 at-bats in this series. Oh, I tell you, in those other games, balls are flying out of every park that's underway. There's a rain delay at New York. There's a foul up to the left side, out of play. New York had a 2-0 lead over the Sox before the rain. And there's Popeye.
No stranger to the managerial ranks. He managed Texas. He managed Boston.
San Diego.
Once again, he's getting an opportunity.
Oh, he just did you a favor right there.
Stoddard hung a slider, and Darryl Strawberry swung right through it. When you're struggling, you don't swing at strikes, and Darryl Strawberry helped out Tim Stoddard right there.
That'll bring up Danny Heap. He reached on the air in the 5th inning on Moreland, and that's where they went on from there to get a couple of runs. They did it with only 1 hit. 1 ball, no strikes.
He can't get that slider anywhere near the strike zone to this point.
Cubs leading 5-2. They had a 5-run 4th. New York had a 2-run 5th. The 1-0. Foul right here below us. 1 ball, 1 strike. Philadelphia Phillies have hit 2 home runs so far, and they've got Montreal down 4-0. That is at Olympic Stadium, by the way. And the 1-1. 2 balls and a strike. Well, when they close out the homestand here tomorrow with a crowd that they're expecting, they'll almost equal all of last year's home attendance. 3 balls and a strike. Parrish has hit number 23 for Detroit. So it's 10-4 Boston. That could end up being one of those 13-9 jobs. 3 balls, 1 strike. Hernandez at second with 1 down, 6th inning. Bullseye, 3-2. Heat making one of his infrequent starts. It's only the 3rd time he started against the Cubs. And both of those times because Foster doesn't play doubleheaders. High foul off to the left out of play. And it's still 3-2. Chapman is due up next. Mets have had 3 hits. The Cubs have 9. But it's not a comfortable lead. 5-2 Cubs. Hernandez, who picked up his 4th hit of the series when he doubled to start the inning, is at second base. Oh, just missed. Stoddard wanted the call and didn't get it. So instead of getting him, he ends up walking him. 2nd walk given up by Stoddard, and the 3rd walk to the Mets in the game. And it brings up Kelvin Chapman, who has flied out, been hit by a pitch, and scored their 2nd run. 316 average. The hit by the pitch was the one that led to the ejection of Scott Sanderson. And he's batting here with 2 on and 1 out. 1 ball, no strikes.
Well, Billy Connors should go out there and have a word with Stoddard because he's just not throwing the ball very well. Having a hard time with both his fastball and his slider. Nobody up yet in the bullpen.
2 on, 1 out. Gets it in there this time and evens the count at a ball and a strike.
Bill Robinson likes this young man's stroke. The hitting instructor of the New York Mets feels that Chapman, and there's Warren Brewster now getting up in the bullpen.
1-1. Bunts it. Stoddard off to get it. Fires to first and got him. It moves the runners up, but it also makes it 2 away. 1-3 on the play. And it'll bring up Rafael Santana, who's 0 for 2 in this one, and he's 2 for 9 for the series. So the 1-3 sack is moved is to 3rd, Heat to 2nd, first base is empty, and Ortiz due up next, and he gets it in for a strike on Santana. Top of the 6th inning. Lines it into left field. That's going to get 2 runs home. Johnstone over to backhand it, but it's a 2-run single for Santana, and just like that, it's a 1-run game. So Santana has come up with some timely hits against the Cubs in 2 series.
Stoddard hangs a slider right in Santana's eyes, and he drives it down the left side. RBIs number 4 and 5 for Rafael Santana, and this has become a 1-run ball game. I don't know how much longer he can go with Tim Stoddard. He wants to give Brewster a chance to warm up, but nobody's been out to talk to Stoddard.
So the big 2-out hit by Santana. Foul back by Ortiz.
Brewster now warming for Chicago.
Steve just mentioned those RBIs put him up to 5 for the year, and he's got 4 of them against the Cubs, and they've all been in the last 2 series. So both bullpens are busy.
Gorman and Doug Sisk warming for the Mets.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Doug Sisk and Tom Gorman in the bullpen for the Mets, the right-hander and left-hander. ready to go.
Santana leading off at first. He represents the tying run. Pitch to Ortiz. A ball. So he's behind another hitter. 2-1. The thing you don't want him to do is get it in a situation where Orozco can be a factor. And he just trotted down to the bullpen. 2 balls and a strike. Bouncer up the first base side. Moreland will grab it, go back to the bag, side retired. Thought a rough inning for Stoddard. 2 runs, 2 hits. They've gotten a lot of mileage out of 3 hits in the last 2 innings. They've scored 4 runs. No errors and a man left. Middle of the 6th, 1-run game, Cubs.
Now, Chicago's only FM stereo country station is US 99, bringing you Chicago's best country at 99.5 FM. Give us a listen.
All right, the panoramic view of jam-packed Wrigley Field, and now the 5-run lead is down to a 1-run lead, and Gaff will be working in his 2nd inning. And the top of the order, Cotto, who is 3 for 3, followed by Sandberg and then Bosley. Bosley's had a couple of hits and driven in a run. So, got to go to work all over again here now.
Cotto's had some day today. A phenomenal catch in center field. A couple of bunts, another base hit. And he's got to lead the Cubs off one more time. They got to put some more runs up on the board. I know it's a tired bullpen, but Tim Stoddard has been a little shaky here today.
So Cotto, who has provided the ignition here a couple of times today, and see if he can do it yet again. There is a base hit into center field. Man, oh man, 4 hits for Cotto. Oh, he stroked a rope right there. First hit off Gaff. And 10 hits for the Cubs in the game. Here's Rhino, 0 for 3, got credit for an RBI. First time in his short big league career that Cotto has had 4 hits in a game. That youngster has really come to play.
Raised his average to 299 from a 272 start at the beginning of the game.
Going. Throw down will be late. Rolls into center. There was a little collision between Cotto and Santana. And Cotto a little slow getting up. I think he'll be all right, but I'm sure that they scraped down there and might have been more than that.
That took the wind out of both of them as Santana goes limping away. Cotto goes in hard at second base. The throw from Ortiz is right into the runner. Nothing Sandberg can do as he got handcuffed. The collision right there. And you can see the shortstop just is completely available to the base runner here when he's got to cross the bag. That's a dangerous play for the shortstop. It was set up by a bad throw from Ortiz.
6 thefts for Henry Cotto. Only been caught twice. And twice in the minor leagues he had over 50 stolen bases. Santana going to test that leg.
He got an elbow right in the thigh. And nothing a shortstop dislikes more than having to go across the bag right into the runner. And that throw set him up to get hit.
All right, trainer is satisfied that he's all right. Everybody back into place. You've got a 1-1 count to Sandberg. Cotto at second base. Nobody out. He's going to get him over to third. Ryne Sandberg, the complete player, just gave himself up right there.
Good solid baseball ahead of Bosley and Ron Say. This is a big run for the Cubs. Sandberg knows that, so he took a chance on a base hit to right. But he knew if he failed, at least he would get Henry Cotto over to third base.
Bosley 2 for 2, drove in a run with a sacrifice fly in the 4th inning. So trying to get one of those runs back and put some daylight in it for the Cub mound staff. Infield up all the way around, right up into the grass. Gaff facing Bosley, and fakes to third, but no throw over and doesn't have to. Ball one.
Infield in at all four positions. The Mets want to cut this run off at the plate. No angles from the ground balls. Anything not hit right at the defenders is going to go through.
The 1-0 to Thad. Ball two. Todd Schmitz from Waukegan, Illinois, with a group out today, and Davey Johnson looking on here. Ball three. Ron Say on deck. Gaff in relief of Lynch. Strike. 3-1. Still in a rain delay at New York. Boston and Detroit just keep on trucking. 10-4 Boston after 3.5. And the Cubs here, who had a 5-run lead at one time, trying to get back another run as they foul that one off. And as you see, the two deuces up on that board by New York in the 5th and 6th closed it into a 1-run game. Payoff. He walked him. That'll bring up Say, who had a 2-run double in the 4th. That's the first walk issued by Gaff. It's only the second Cub to walk in the game. And Ron Say facing Gaff with runners on the corners and one away.
Ron Say knocked in his 62nd and 63rd RBI of the year with that 2-run double with a rifle shot down the third baseline. That's going to send the Mets bullpen busy one more time.
Looks like Gorman backs him off the plate. 1-0. And it is Tom Gorman. Baltimore at Cleveland will be McGregor against Blyleven. A ball. 2-0. McGregor going for his 13th in that game. Blyleven, with a Cleveland ball club that doesn't win that often, is going for number 11. So you saw the runners, Cotto and Bosley. They can both pick them up and lay them down. The 2-0 to the Penguin. Didn't have the good. In fact, I think he was trying to pull it back.
He came through with a big home run in the first game. Those were the 2 runs that made the difference. That was the 7th and 8th Cub run. They won it 8-6. The Penguin looking to do some more damage right here.
Cotto and Bosley leading off on the corners. Say waiting on a 2-1. Runner at first going. But got to wind it up and bring it back. Oh, he had it swiped too, didn't he?
Don Zimmer wanting to stay out of the double play, and Bosley got a great jump. Gaff kind of forgot about him over there at first base. Bosley taking advantage of that. Had Say taken the pitch, Bosley would have been in at second standing up.
Time will be called here. A ball got away in the New York bullpen. Rolls clear up toward the home plate area. Well, I hope that an old friend, Charles Cole, highway patrolman for many, many years out in Iowa. Understand he's a bit under the weather. Hope the old Sarge is doing all right. Runner going again. Swinging a foul off by Say. Bosley will move back toward first. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Moreland is on deck.
With the infield back, Don Zimmer knows that on a ground ball with Bosley going, the Mets won't be able to turn 2, but Henry Cotto will be able to score. That's why he's got Bosley in motion.
Not going this time. Foul back by Say, way upstairs behind home plate, and it holds at 2-2.
It's a friendly win for right-handers right now. It's shifted once again. Now it's blowing straight out toward the left field corner.
You got to check the flags every inning here today, Stoney. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Runner going, swinging, and a base hit into center. Run will score. Bosley will come to third.
Right up the middle, RBI number 64 for Ron Say, and Wally Backman comes very close to this ball. You can see he's breaking to second because Bosley was running. He almost turned that into a double play, but Bosley on his way to third base. The Cubs still have runners at the corners, and they continue to add to their lead. It's up to a 2-run lead.
Keith Moreland with a walk, a pop-up, and hit by a pitch. Fouls it back up to the right.
After getting hit the last time, there's nothing that Keith Moreland would like more than to do some damage to the Mets in this situation. Boy, he's a tough competitor, and he has ignited the Cubs the last week and a half. He has been as hot as you'll see any hitter.
2 strikes. Bullpen coach just tipped his cap to manager Davey Johnson, letting him know that the left-hander is ready since Johnstone is due up next. 0-2. Cubs are leading 6-4, 6th inning. Fouled way up to the right, out of play. Every game after we leave here tomorrow on the road trip into Montreal, Houston, and Cincinnati will be yours on Channel 9 except the Saturday afternoon game at Montreal. 0-2. Hit him on the fist, popped him down to the bullpen area on the right side, drops down past their bench, and it's still 2 strikes. Moreland checking the bat handle.
Gary Matthews did not start this game, so he would be available. If Davey Johnson does go to Gorman, then perhaps Matthews would come in to pinch hit for Johnstone. So a lot of flexibility on the bench, playing the guys who haven't played in a while as starters today. The bench becomes a whole lot stronger.
0-2. Going to go to short, then back to first. Hernandez handled it perfectly.
3-6-3, a difficult double play, but the Gold Glove does it again.
So the Cubs have to settle for 1 run on 2 hits. Say drove in Cano at his 4th hit in the game. No errors, 1 left. After 6, as the Cubs try to sweep the double dip, they're leading by 2.
Harry Caray and Steve Stone as we go into the top of the 7th. Cubs added a big run on Say's clutch hit. What a day Say has had. He had a homer and a single, 2 RBIs in the first game. He came into this ball game to bat for the first time in the 4th when he doubled in 2 runs. Now he's singled in another one. So he's had 1 homer and 5 RBIs for the day.
Ron Hodges is going to come in to pinch hit for Brent Gaff. He's hitting .176 this year, 4 for 17 as a pinch hitter. Made an appearance in the first game and struck out.
Ron Hodges. There's the windup, the first pitch by Stoddard. Fastball a little bit low. Boy, there was a lot of excitement on the field there in that 4th inning. Boy, that seems to be a tough ruling to kick a pitcher out who doesn't have a reputation of throwing at anybody. There's a ground ball hit to Say. Good throw. Get him. Hurry. He gets him 1 out. Hodges was trying to check his swing. It rolled to Say, and it turned out to be a tough play.
Well, Hodges was hustling. As soon as the ball hit off his bat, the Penguin had to come in a hurry and fire to first. And he just did get Hodges. Watch it again. He doesn't mean to swing, but then he is off to the races. Ron Say, stumbling a little bit, still makes the good, solid throw.
Here now is Wally Backman. Hits a ground ball to Sandberg. You know what that means. 2 out. 2 up, 2 down. Here now is Mookie Wilson. Birthday greetings to Sean Tobin. His mother, Renee, is the receptionist for the Cubs. Sean is celebrating his 12th birthday today. I'm sure Renee has a big party planned for the boy. 2 out, nobody on. Here's the pitch. Mookie Wilson takes a strike call. You're watching exciting Chicago Cubs baseball over WGN Channel 9, Chicago, America's #1 sports station. Here's a high pop foul. Going to go out of play into the right field corner. 2 strikes and nothing. Birthday greetings also to Lieutenant Ray Hartman of the Chicago Heights Police Department, celebrating his 47th with the group here today.
I think it's Wes Gardner throwing in the bullpen. We've heard some good things about the youngster. Saw him in his major league debut in Shea Stadium. The Mets will need a new pitcher, and he will probably be the one.
Here's the pitch now, and Mookie takes it. Hits the plate umpire, Fred Brocklander, and Tim Stoddard is probably happy about that. He's been having his problems.
The fans give him a derisive cheer.
Freddie and Rennell Squilio. Grabbing it. Here's a pitch a little bit. 1-2 the count. Brocklander dusting off the plate. That's a tough ruling, that ejecting the pitcher, isn't it?
Well, they're trying to keep the game reasonable, but there's no way Sanderson would throw at him with a 5-run lead, not qualifying for the win.
There's a pitch bounce foul.
Especially with nobody up in the bullpen.
No good judgment on that. No common sense. 1-2 the count. Mookie Wilson, the hitter. The pitch. Strike! 3 call. And Stoddard breezed through the 7th inning. 1, 2, 3. Nothing at Brock. At the end of the top of the 7th, the score, Cubs 6, Mets 4. Everybody, we practiced this once. Let's do it this time. A 1, a 2, a 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts, crack the jack. I don't care if I never get back. Oh, it's root for the company. If they don't win, it's a shame, for it's we go into the bottom of the 7th. Wes Gardner's the new pitcher. J. Johnstone bunts. Got a chance. Save! He beat it out. He bunted on the first pitch and beat it out.
He took the big, long stride at the end that slowed him down a little bit, but he did beat it out against the youngster. Gardner, 1-0, no earned run average this year, making his 5th appearance. Johnstone tests him right off the bat. Gardner can't get to the ball in time. Johnstone is safe. Gardner, 6'4", 195 pounds, only has played 2 years previous to this year in pro ball. He was 3-6 his first year at Little Falls. Then at Lynchburg, he was 6-3. So no AA experience, half a year in AAA, and up to the major leagues.
Here's Lake now, and the pitch is low and outside. John Linden Weber with a birthday here today.
Lee Smith getting loose. They're getting down to Stoddard's spot. And there you take a look at Big Lee. He hasn't seen any action today, so he should be fresh.
There's Don Zimmer now coming down the line to talk to Steve Lake. Phil Donahue watching the ball game here today.
Gardner hasn't walked anybody in his 4 1/3 innings with 4 strikeouts. He was his team's save leader, one of the league leaders.
Now the pitch. There goes the runner, swung on and foul back. Hit and run was on. Freddie and Rennell Squilio. Send your dinner up from the little Italian deli. About time you ate some good food, Steve.
Well, where is it? You've been telling me about it. I haven't seen it.
Right behind you. The pitch. He bunts. The only play, first base. Sacrifice. Here's Larry Boa coming out now. Both Bill Buckner and Tony Armas have hit grand slams for the Red Sox. Buckner hit another home run in the second inning. He's had 2 today. And the Red Sox at the end of 4 lead Detroit 10-4. Philadelphia at the end of 4.5 over Montreal, 5-0.
The 4th inning, Larry was involved in an unusual play. Keith Hernandez with a runner at third base stopped a double bid by Larry Boa, fired home. Nobody was going. John Stone was at third. Boa got safely to first base via the fielder's choice. And it dug the Mets into a little bit of a hole.
Here's a pitch by Gardner, a fastball in there, a strike call. One of the few times Boa didn't swing at the first pitch. He's 0 for 3 today. Batting .218. John Stone at second base. There's a fastball low. Gary Woods is going to be the pinch hitter. Fouled out of play. 1-2 the count.
Wes Gardner was the Mets' 22nd pick in the 1982 June free agent draft. So apparently a few clubs didn't think that he would get here, but it didn't take him too long. A couple years of A-ball experience and in the big leagues.
Now the pitch to Boa. Ground ball to the shortstop, easy out. Hey, almost beat it. So Gary Woods is going to bat for Stoddard.
Larry Boa hustling right from the crack of the bat, just misses beating this ball. Santana takes his time, gets it over there. Just barely nips Boa at first.
Gary Woods is batting for Stoddard. Now Sanderson cannot be the winning pitcher. Stoddard could be. Lee Smith is going to come in for the save. He'll be trying for his 25th. Wes Gardner ready. Right in there, a beauty, a strike call.
Gardner joins the legions of short relievers that throw sinker slider. Throws a little bit from the side. Doesn't have a sharp breaking slider, but he does keep the ball down.
Jay Johnstone in scoring position. Another run would really help. Swung and he missed. Actually foul tip. And he's in the hole 0-2 now. There's Lee Smith coming down the line into the dugout. 0-2 the count. 6-4 the Cubs are leading. Low. $39,274 paid today. Big turnout. Struck him out, boy. He didn't like that at all. Gary Woods is caught out on strikes. He's still standing at home plate. So Gardner got through the bottom of the 7. No runs, 1 hit, no error. 1 left at the end of 7. Cubs lead 6-4. Harry Harry Caray back at Wrigley Field. Gary Wood's going to stay in the ball game, which means he'll be hitting ninth, a spot in which he pinch hit. And Lee Smith will be the new pitcher. He'll be batting in the sixth spot, which will be Jay Johnstone. So he's not likely to come up.
The Cubs are holding on to that precarious 2-run lead. The Mets have been chipping away. Lee Smith with a 6-4 record and a .347 earned run average will be making his 49th appearance. He'll be going for his 25th save. He's pitched 70 innings, given up 61 hits with 60 strikeouts and 26 bases on balls. He's been touched for the home run 6 times. And he'll be facing the heart of the batting order, Hernandez, Strawberry, and Heap.
For those of you who wonder about that Cub cruise, how much it costs, it costs either $1,500 or $1,400 according to accommodations. Reservations are on a first-come, first-served basis. And that includes round-trip airfare from Chicago, all meals on board ship, all ground transportation, and transfers. All reservations are being handled by Wings on Tour. Here's Hernandez, the first pitch high. For further information, jot down his phone number, 312-591-7000, or write to Cubs Cruise at that address. Post Office Box 676, Northbrook, Illinois, where Scott Sanderson lives, and he and his wife will be on that cruise. The zip 60062. Line foul. 1-2 is the count.
3 innings, 2 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts.
Stoddard went 3 innings. Allowed 3 hits, 2 runs. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 3 hits, 2 runs in the 3 innings he pitched. Hernandez leading it off. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Lee Smith's pitch. High pop foul out of play.
What time's the third game start?
Oh, boy. This started at 12 o'clock. He struck him out. Hernandez goes down swinging.
Good fastball by Lee Smith. It wasn't a strike, but Hernandez couldn't catch up with it. Goes down on strikes.
Here's Strawberry, and the first pitch is high. The Mets are down to their final 5 outs. 1 away, 8th inning. The delivery. He held up ball 2.
Strawberry's had a tough day today. He's 0 for 6 in the doubleheader. The only time he got on base was the first time up in the 2nd inning in the first game.
2 balls, no strikes. Fouled it back. Had a good cut. And Brocklander dust off the plate. Here's George Frazier. Boy, it's gotten hot and humid again. Final game of the series tomorrow. There are seats available for tomorrow's game. Cubs will try for the sweep, hopefully. Ground ball. Whoa, off of Moreland's glove. A base hit. Strawberry gets his first hit of the day. A ground single past Moreland. Here's Danny Heap, and look out. This guy's only had 1 home run this year. He's been used primarily as a pinch hitter, but he's capable of hitting the long ball. A runner at first, 1 out. Moreland played right field in the first game, started the second game at third base, shifted over to first when Durham had a lead. Say coming in. It was a good thing Say did come in, because he batted in 3 big runs. Double play ball, maybe. Boa's got it over. Sandberg went over the plate. Oh, a double play. 6-4, 3 and out. Heath hit the ball right at Boa. No runs, 1 hit, no error. Nobody left. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Cubs are leading 6-4.
You know, there are 2 things I can always smell, my friend. Sadists and liars. You're one, he's the other.
Cannon, weeknights at 10:30 on Channel 9.
Harry Caray back at Wrigley Field as we go down the bottom of the 8th. Henry Cano, he's got 4 out of 4 today. He pinched in the 8th inning yesterday and doubled. That's 5 out of 5. He's 6 hits in his last 7 times at bat. And 5 in a row.
And don't forget a spectacular catch in left center field, diving up against the wall over Jay Johnstone. He's done it all with his bat and with his glove, and he's run exceptionally well.
4 out of 4 today. Wes Gardner getting ready. The pitch. Fastball in there, a strike call. The Red Sox made 5 runs in the first, 5 runs in the second. You're entitled to ask, did they win? Well, they're leading 10-6 in the 5th. Detroit made 1 in the first, 2 in the second, 1 in the third, 2 in the 5th, and it's 10-6. Red Sox batting in the bottom of the 5th. Oh, he didn't mean to swing. He was trying to check it, and he rolled softly to the pitcher. That's a tough way to end a 5-hit streak. Listen to the hand the crowd's giving Henry Cano. And if his mother is watching him in Puerto Rico, they got a dish in order to get the game in his hometown. She can be proud of her son, knowing the Chicago fans really love him too. Here's Sandberg. He's 1 out of 9 today. Driven in 1 run. There's a base hit like a bullet. His 150th of the year. 50 hits away with 50 games to go from 200.
Well, he was 0 for 4 when he came up in the 8th inning of the first game. Got a single and was 0 for 4 when he came up in the 8th inning here. And another single.
Here's Bosley. He's been on base 3 times and drove in a run.
Good opportunity for Sandberg to steal. You'd like to put another run up on the board. Ortiz hasn't been throwing very well. And you got a left-hand batter obscuring the view of Ortiz.
Now the pitch. Swung and he missed. Boy, he had a good cut at that. 40,324 here today. A high pop foul out of play. The Chicago Cubs are running 352,000 ahead in attendance over a year ago. They've already drawn 1,437,000. If they maintain their average of 26,000 per game, they will go over the 2 million mark. There's a drive into the left field corner, and it is a fair ball. There's a runner on third. He's going to score. Bosley's around second. He's going to hold up. Fred Bosley doubled into the left field corner. Holy cow. Everybody's in the act.
His his second RBI of the day, Bosley's fourth RBI of the year. He's 3 for 4 with a walk, and he slices this ball down the left field line. Danny Heap can't get to it. When it gets by him, Sandberg scores the 7th Cub run, a big insurance run here in the 8th. Sandberg coasting home, and Bosley and Cotto have had 7 hits between them. The bench comes through once again.
No matter who Jim Frey puts into the lineup, doesn't seem to make any difference where they play, where they bat. Just put them in the lineup and they contribute something to the team's victory. Here's Say, who's had a tremendous day. Runner in scoring position. Bosley with his second RBI of the day. There's a high drive, deep right center field. Will be caught. Strawberry near the ivy makes the catch. Bosley advances after the catch. Say, fly deep. Boy, the Penguin has really been hitting the ball on the nose.
Say's raised his average 15 points the last 2 weeks, and that's difficult to do when you have 370 at-bats. You know he's been pounding the ball.
Joe Carter hit a home run leading off the ball game for Cleveland. He's second in the year, and they're out in front of Baltimore 1-0.
They're going to walk Keith Moreland. They're not going to give him a chance to do any more damage. Lee Smith is due up next, and they're not going to pinch hit for him, so Moreland will go to first base, and Lee will have a chance to knock in a run.
Yankees are leading the White Sox 2-0. That game has been resumed at the end of 4. So Moreland who hit a 3-run homer in the first game as the game-winning RBI, is being intentionally walked. Cubs lead 7-4. 2 on, 2 out. Hope you're enjoying the telecast wherever you might be, and with it, a cold bottle of Budweiser. Here comes Smitty. Smith's been to bat 7 times, struck out 4 of those 7. Or rather, struck out 5 of the 7 times. There's a fastball high and outside. Low ball 2. Steve Lake will be next. Boy, I tell you, the Cubs have been scoring some runs against these fellas.
You know who's got the game-winning hit in this game, Harry? Scott Sanderson. He won't get any credit for it, but he'll get the game-winning RBI.
That's right, he did. Put the Cubs ahead. Well, they hit in the 4th inning, driving in the first run out of the 5 they got. 2 balls and a strike. Woodchopper's ball on that. Look at Jody.
He enjoys Lee Smith's at bat.
Jody's enjoying his day off, this game off. He caught the first one. Ball 3. Jody had 1 out of 4 in the first game. Look at Tony Garofalo.
He's telling Lee to get up on his toes. He can hit that high one.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Just take it, Lee. Hey! Base hit in the center field. Another run is in. Hey! Let's take a look at that dugout now. Look at Jody and Tony Garofalo. Look at that whole bench. Look at that. Look at the bull. Look at Rick Sutcliffe. Bosley scored.
This is Lee Smith's second career hit. He drives it by Santana. His other hit was a home run, and this scores another run. Thad Bosley.
So 2 runs are in. It's 8-4 now. A lot of fun they're having in there now. Steve Lake had a cut and he missed. To 4. The Cubs are out in front. They're going for the sweep. Steve Lake trying to keep it going. Fouls it back. Had a good cut. Look at this. The Cubs are going far. They're 6th in a row over the Mets. Listen to scores. 11-4, 3-0, 5-1, 9-3, 8-6, 8-4. So they have really been piling up the runs on these guys.
This is a pretty good pitching staff that they're knocking around. They sent some pretty good pitchers to the mound the last couple of days, and the Cubs couldn't have picked a better time to tune up their bats.
He struck him out. All right, 2 runs are in. 3 hits. No errors. 2 left. At the end of 8, the Chicago Cubs 8, the Mets 4. Harry Caray back at Wrigley Field. Cubs going for the 6th in a row over the Mets. During those 6 games, they've piled up 44 runs against the Mets. That's an average of almost 8 runs per game, and held the Mets to only 18 runs, an average of 3 runs per game. Here's Calvin Chapman leading it off. Smitty going for his 25th save. There's a long drive. Cotto's there, though. Easy out. 1 gone. Sanderson will have the game-winning hit, but Stoddard will be the pitcher of record.
If Lee Smith can hold on, this will be save number 25. Tim Stoddard will win game number 8. And Sanderson will gladly trade his win for a Cubs sweep.
The Cubs will be 3.5 games in front. Santana, who drove in a couple of runs in the 6th to pull them within 1. Ground ball to Sandberg. 2 out. 1 more, and the Cubs will, for the 2nd time in a row, swept the Mets in a doubleheader and will have run their string to 6 in a row over New York. There are 50 games left after today. 23 at home, 27 away. Here's Junior Ortiz. One ball, no strikes. There's a base hit. This game's not over yet. Ortiz singles to center. Here's Jerry Martin coming out as a pinch hitter. Martin, who used to be with the Cubs, hitting 157. 2 homers, 3 RBI. innings left. The Cubs will be leading by 3.5 with 50 to go.
They'll be 22 over 500.
Wow. There's a pitch found out of play. The Cubs will have 67 wins. If they play 500 ball the rest of the way, nobody can catch him. He swings and he misses. 25 victories out of the remaining 50 will give them 92. 0-2 the count. A little high. A year ago, after 112 games, the Cubs were 10 under 500. This year, they'll be 22 over. This will be 8. Here's the pitch. Come out. The Cubs are 3.5 games out in front. Lee Smith is 25th save. And boy, there are a myriad of heroes here today. What a great afternoon. And the Cubs have swept the doubleheader.
Take a look at down on the field. A happy bunch of Cubs. They did a tremendous job this afternoon.
All right, we'll be back with the totals and the highlights. Look at everybody congratulating each other. That was Warren Brewster. Cubs have won 8-6 and 8-4. They're 3.5 games out in front. We'll be back in a moment. Harry Caray and Steve Stone from Wrigley Field. The people are slow leaving. They really love what happened here today.
Well, if you're going to be here 6.5 hours, Harry, you might as well take 2, and that's exactly what the Cubs did. The bats came to life today. Everybody did their job. The bench in the second game was cleared by Jim Frey. 7 hits between Thad Bosley and Henry Cotto. What a day for the Cubs.
I tell you, no matter who plays, they contribute something to the victory. And you know, the big plus of the Mets has been their pitching. In sweeping the last 6 games against the Mets, the Cubs have totaled 44 runs. They've averaged about 8 runs per game, while holding them to a total of 18 runs, or an average of 3 runs per game.
Well, tomorrow is going to be another big one. The Cubs could set the Mets back 4.5 games. Every time you play your pursuer, each game means 2. It's a big difference tomorrow, but the Cubs are going to come out very hot. The only damper on today's game, Scott Sanderson doesn't get the win. Leon Durham has a little bit of a muscle problem, and Dave Owen got hit in the leg in the first game. Other than that, they came out of it pretty well.
Well, we also threw in a fight or two and a few arguments for the fans. Like I say, no ifs, no ands, no buts. The most exciting place in Chicago, or maybe in the country these days, is Wrigley Field. Now there's Lynch hitting Keith Moreland. And Moreland, as he has done before, see, they can't catch him. They want to stop him. Now he goes right for the tackle. He rarely takes a punch. He likes to bring the opponent down to the ground first. And then 50 players pile up. Now look at this. Who's hitting who? Ruben Amaro, number 5. There's Ron Say. Frank Howard trying to break it up. If Frank Howard got angry, he could have beaten them all by himself.
You know, nobody was grabbing Frank Howard, because that's a man you want to stay away from in a fight. And Sutcliffe, who threw the first game, and by the way, Dave Owen was hit in that first game, so Sutcliffe couldn't retaliate because he would have been thrown out of the game. That's exactly what happened to Scott Sanderson. And All's well that ends well, but this was an exciting day.
You know, after something like that, it was strange that nobody was kicked out of the ballgame. Moreland wasn't kicked out, and Ed Lynch, who hit him, wasn't kicked out either. Nobody was kicked out of the ballgame. But I guess a general warning was issued. And therefore, when Sanderson hit Chapman, the umpire interpreted it as continuing the imbroglio and kicked him out of the ballgame.
As well as Jim Frey. So Don Zimmer gets a win here today. He was managing in Jim Frey's place. He's turning out to be a pretty good manager. He did a nice job that second game.
Look at the dugouts. The reason there are no players there, they're all out there fighting or standing around or talking or something. Meanwhile, you see everybody leaving. All right, Steve Lake is going to be our guest on the 10th inning show. Well, Steve,
I'll see
Stone, we'll see you tomorrow.
120 here.
I'm surrounded by Steve.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Here quickly are the totals. 8 runs, 15 hits, 1 error for the Cubs. The winner is Tim Stoddard. He now has won 8 and lost 4. The save goes to Lee Smith, his 25th of the year. For the Mets, 4 runs, 6 hits, 1 error. The loser is Ed Lynch. He now has won 8 and lost 7. The Cubs also won the first game 8-6, so they are now 3.5 games ahead of the Mets. The Cubs, of course, first, 50 games left to play. Hope you enjoyed the whole afternoon. Steve Lake coming up as our guest on the 10th inning show. Now with Steve Stone, this is Harry Caray, and truly and really, this Bud's for you. So long, everybody.
Our participating advertisers in Cubs baseball were Bud Light. The best has a taste all its own, satisfying but never filling. Zenith and your Zenith dealers. At Zenith, the quality goes in before the name goes on. United Airlines. You're not just flying, you're flying the friendly skies. Canon, the official 35mm camera of the 1984 Olympics. Union 76 and your neighborhood Union 76 dealers, who invite you to go with the spirit of 76. Toyota's exciting cars and trucks for 1984. Toyota invites you to see them at your local dealer. And by True Value. The more you've got to do, the more you need True Value hardware stores. We've got what it takes.
Steve Lake's going to be our guest on the 10th inning show, which will follow. Our next televised game will be between the Chicago Cubs, who will be trying to sweep the 4-game series, facing the New York Mets here tomorrow. Our telecast will begin with the leadoff man at 1 o'clock. Our executive producer and director is Arnie Harris. Our graphics by our assistant director, Joe Carneo. Our sports editor is Jack Rosenberg. The Cubs have increased their first-place lead to 3.5 games by sweeping the Mets today, 8-6 in the first game, 8-4 in the second game. This has been a WGN Television 9 sports presentation.